The sky is no limit for these epic space adventures that bring us tactical battles, fast-paced dogfighting, creative constructions, and unlimited journeys. Hello, my name's GamerZakh, and welcome to my 30 upcoming PC space games in 2019 and 2020 list. Now, nebulous is the genre that defines these games, but it's not just games with a space setting. They have to live and breathe space, immersing us in zero-G and bringing us to worlds unknown. There's a supermassive lineup of games, so let's get started. Starting with some space adventures, we've got Between the Stars by Isolated Games. Captain a stellar cruiser across the galaxy as you try to save the Interstellar Republic. This is a single-player space adventure where you will pilot your ship, make important decisions, engage in space dogfights, and complete missions in a procedurally generated universe. It raised €37,000 on Kickstarter at the end of 2018, so it is a somewhat smaller development, but the footage we've seen so far doesn't look too bad. There's also a demo of the game, so you can check it out yourself right now. Aiming for a Q1 2019 release, we should be exploring the cosmos in Between the Stars soon. Continuing the journey, it's Astrox Imperium by Jace Masula, a space adventure with RPG elements and physics-based combat. Customize your ship as you be a miner, diplomat, scientist, or pirate through a non-linear story. Crafting, questing, and full mod support are promised too. A big note is that development updates are a little unclear, and the best place to see new things is the Twitter account, though there have been some people talking about the testing version of the game so far. What's actually going to be delivered at the end of the day for Astrox Imperium, though, is a little unclear right now. Now for tactical space combat, it's Executive Assault 2 by Hesketh Studios. Calling itself an RTS FPS phenomenon, this is a mix of genres that basically ends up being space combat with some strategy behind it. You build and command fleets of starships, pilot individual fighters, mine for resources, and fight for control of the quadrant. There's also first-person shooter mechanics for ship interiors. Overall, it looks promising, but games like these can come off as being unfocused and the experience unpolished. However, being in early access on Steam right now with very positive reviews, Executive Assault 2 seems to be shaping up to be something that fans of the mix of genres are liking. For more space tactics, it's Age of Space by PodPal Games. Coining the genre Squad Scale RTS, this is a game where you complete missions for 3 space factions by mining, building, and upgrading, along with your company engaging in mercenary work. There's meant to be a single-player campaign, online multiplayer, and deep ship customization with base management. Sounds fun, but might be a little bland if it doesn't get enough personality injected into the game, or it might end up with a strong niche following. Targeting a 2019 release, we'll be able to get a closer look at Age of Space over the next year. Then for some Warhammer 40k with Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 by Tindalos Interactive. Adapted from Games Workshop's Warhammer 40k tabletop game, expect deep strategy and tactics including 12 factions, a dramatic story, single-player campaigns, multiplayer modes, and large-scale space naval combat. The first game overall has mixed reviews, many citing broken or poor AI and lack of dev support. But the game itself being great besides that, so you might want to look up how things went the first time around before jumping into this sequel. Set for a 24th of January 2019 release, it won't be long before Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 lands. Flying into a smaller scale with space dogfighting, it's Starfighter Inc. by Impeller Studios. Inspired by X-Wing and TIE Fighter, here's a team-based space dogfighting shooter that is taking the science of space a little seriously, down to how the heat of your craft dissipates in zero-G environments. Some of you might enjoy the hyperrealism of how things work, but others might find it tedious, though the footage so far looks promising. After an initial failed Kickstarter, they succeeded on the second try and have been in full production since. Development of Starfighter Inc. does look like it's got a long way to go, but hopefully it turns out as planned. Fighting along, it's Redout Space Assault by 34 Big Things. The previous Redout game was actually a racing game, but this time we go into space with fast-paced tactical dogfights. Definitely being on the more action side of space games, there is single-player and multiplayer, career mode, and upgrading of your ship. But basically, after seeing some gameplay, you should be able to get a pretty clear idea of what this one is all about. Some of you might be looking for this kind of adrenaline-fueled experience, but others may find it a bit too shallow. Either way, Redout's Space Assault is shooting for a Q1 2019 release, so we'll be able to play it then. Then there's more dogfighting in Ark Savior by Squid Monkey Studios. Choose and customize your ship, engage in combat with other ships and stations, and make your way through 3 separate stories. This is a single-player space shooter where you're fighting for the fate of your people. There are many games now trying to do the whole fast-paced space dogfighting thing, and at first glance, this one doesn't look to be the most developed. However, first glances can be misleading, and it could be one of the better ones. I know many are looking for good single-player experiences too, so this might be right for you. With a set release date of the 31st of January 2019, you'll be able to take to space flight and get shooting in Ark Savior soon. For one more space fighter, it's Infinity Battlescape by I-Novae Studios. A game that's been in development for a few years and making some progress. Engage hundreds of players in space battles in seamless interplanetary warfare with Newtonian physics for atmosphere and space. Offline sandbox mode for exploring and testing is also a thing. The gist of it is that it's a space dogfighting game where you can transition between planet atmospheres and space. Plus, there are developer live streams if you want to look at where the game stands. The plan is to go into full beta in early 2019, so at that point Infinity Battlescape will be a thing many more can check out. On to building and constructing in space, we've got Avorion by Boxelware. This is one of those space building games where you can play co-op in a procedural sandbox using scalable blocks. But what sets it apart from just a constructor is that there's a sense of progression as you travel the universe doing things. Explore, build, fight, trade, and mine as you find your way to the core of the galaxy. It's been in early access on Steam since 2017 and been getting very positive reviews. Notably, the game has been improving quite a bit more recently. The plan is to fully release the game in 2019, but these kind of sandbox games often run long in their development times and are never really done. But if you like the whole space sandbox constructor thing with the addition of combat and adventure, then have a look at Avorion. Continuing the building, it's Interstellar Rift by Split Polygon, an open-world starship simulator where the focus is on starship construction and multiplayer interaction. Open rifts in space to explore a hostile galaxy, customize your vessel, mine and trade resources, and engage in PvE and PvP combat, including ship-to-ship battles and boarding for close-quarter action. The game has been in early access on Steam since mid-2015, which is quite a while, though it does have mostly positive reviews that has dropped to mixed more recently, mainly due to technical issues and poor optimization. The initial aim was to hit full release by around the end of 2018, so hopefully Interstellar Rift does manage to fix its problems and complete relatively soon. For some voxel space construction, we have Starmade by Schine. Here's a space sandbox where you participate in battles, build ships with moving parts, and try to dominate a procedural galaxy. It's also a voxel game, which you may or may not like the aesthetic of. It's been in Steam Early Access since the end of 2014, which is a long time, with mixed reviews, which isn't the best. Development isn't progressing as fast as it needs to be, really. An important note is that although the game costs money on Steam, the free demo that's available is the current full version. So whatever it is, you can check out Starmade yourself at zero risk and see if it's for you. For more blocky building, it's Skywanderers by Francois. This is another sci-fi sandbox where the focus is creative freedom and exploration. Another voxel construction game. Build spaceships, play with blocks, paint things, and explore a procedural galaxy. It's raised about 47,000 euros in crowdfunding in 2017 onwards, and is meant to go into Steam Early Access around the end of 2018. There does seem to be a lot of competition in the space voxel sandbox arena right now, but this one does look promising, though until it enters Early Access we won't know for sure. Hopefully, Skywanderers can deliver on the promise of creativity and the simple joys of building things for those who are looking for it. For one more voxel builder, it's Stationeers by Rocketworks. Construct and manage your own space station and ships solo or with friends in this voxel space constructor. There's fully functioning atmospherics, science, power, engineering, medical, and agricultural systems. Notably, this is from the creator of DayZ, which might be a cautionary tale for some of you, but having been in early access on Steam since late 2017, it's been getting very positive reviews, and a lot of people have been enjoying it. Frequent updates are a positive right now too, so maybe Stationeers will turn out to be what many have been waiting for. And then we have Cosmoteer by Walt Dessler, giving itself the status of Ultimate Starship Designer. Here you can design and build intricate vessels to battle AI or test yourself in multiplayer. Ships can get very complex with hundreds of crew running around managing weapons, shields, and engines. You can play the current version for free as a demo right now, but it does intend to release a paid version for Steam eventually. Updates are regular enough, and there is a detailed roadmap, so you can see where the game is headed. If you like building intricate things and blowing other things up in space, then go check out the current state of Cosmoteer. Shifting into the second dimension, we've got Nimbatus by Stray Fawn Studio. A 2D ship designer and builder, this one is a procedurally generated space action game where you build space drones out of hundreds of different parts and explore a fully destructible galaxy. The destruction can be substantial too. It released into early access towards the end of 2018 and it's received fewer but very positive reviews, though there are some who have concerns about it being repetitive, as procedural doesn't always mean things are different. There are a lot of possibilities when it comes to the drones though, so if that's your thing, have a closer look and see if you want to give Nimbatus a shot. Staying in 2D, it's Star Sector by Fractal Softworks. Open world, single player, space combat and role-playing game. Explore war-torn star systems as you seek fortune and glory however you choose. The thing setting this apart is that you're controlling a whole fleet and combat can be planned and tactical, but it has the expected upgrading of ships, trading and hiring of crew too. You can buy into the game now in its early state through the official website, and updates are coming regularly enough. Important to note though that it's been in development for many years and it's got a when it's ready approach to release. A lot of people have been liking it though, but if you're interested in a complete experience, you might want to give Star Sector a bit more time. For a 2D adventure, we've got Shortest Trip to Earth by Interactive Fate. A kind of mix between Star Control and FTL. Journey through systems as you encounter resource-filled planets, native inhabitants with problems, alien factions, and hostile entities. You have control over your ship like in FTL. Customizing gear and controlling crew, and ship-to-ship combat is similar too, but a bit more flexible. Traveling the universe is half FTL with jumps, but in systems themselves, you explore it like Star Control, going to each planet and investigating curiosities. It's been in early access on Steam since late 2018, aiming for a 2019 release with few but very positive reviews, so it's definitely not for everyone, but it does feel very playable in its current state. If you've been looking for a 2D single-player space adventure that has an old-school feel, then Shortest Trip to Earth can feel nostalgic and new at the same time. Going from a short trip to a long journey, it's Voidship: The Long Journey by Sidonian Games. Here's a 2D top-down space strategy where you captain a modular ship on a mission that may take centuries to complete. There's gathering of resources, crew, and technology to upgrade your dinky vessel into a Titan warship. This one has some roguelike elements and randomized maps with real-time combat, though gameplay footage shows it's probably got niche appeal. A free alpha demo is available on the official site if you'd like to have a look yourself, but with the 24th of January 2019 release set, if you like what you're seeing, you'll be able to play the full version of Voidship: The Long Journey not too long from now. With a name that's hard to Google, it's Delta V Rings of Saturn by Codera Software. The year is 2273, and a valuable mineral was discovered in the Rings of Saturn, sparking a gold rush for space excavation. Not all is as it appears though as you uncover the mysteries of the rings. The 2D top-down spaceflight and combat is all backed up by science, so things should work realistically, and your ship is detailed down to every subsystem, where you can trade, upgrade, and hire crew. 2019 is the set release window, and there's a free demo on Steam that you can check out right now. As with many games on this list, providing a free demo is always a nice touch of trust from the developers, and maybe Delta V Rings of Saturn is what you're looking for. For the last 2D game, it's Wayward Terran Frontier Zero Falls by Reason Generator. Space exploration and adventure commanding a crew in a story-driven adventure. As you can see in this list, there's a lot of competition in the 2D space adventure with resource gathering, customizable ships, and crew recruiting. They could all be good, but you'll probably have a favorite flavor. And it's good that we have the choice. This one's been in early access on Steam since 2016 with fewer but mostly positive reviews, main issue being that it's still a little underdeveloped. Updates are frequent enough though, and more content is being added and refinements being made. You might want to check on it a bit later, but if you like what you're seeing of Wayward Terran Frontier Zero Falls, you can go inspect it now. Then we have something different with Objects in Space by Flat Earth Games. Modem punk is a theme that not many are familiar with, and games based on it are rare. But here's a stealth space trading game set in a huge cluster of star systems dozens of light years away from Earth. There's a massive open world, lots of NPCs, fully customizable ships, tense submarine-inspired combat, and Sandbox, single-player, and multiplayer modes are planned. The low-tech approach to space is what sets this game apart, and it might be something you love or hate. It entered early access on Steam mid-2018, receiving few but mostly positive reviews, so perhaps Objects in Space can turn out to be a niche favorite as it aims for an early 2019 release. Next we've got Pulsar Lost Colony by Leafy Games. A cooperative space exploration game for 1 to 5 players. Operate a starship to explore a randomized galaxy falling into chaos. Go on missions, investigate abandoned stations, scavenge components, explore planets, engage in combat, and all that by yourself or working with some friends. This one does have VR support and motion control too if you're equipped for that. The visual style might turn some of you away, but it's popular enough to maintain a smaller community. Having been in early access on Steam since 2015, it's gotten very positive reviews despite it originally meaning to release years ago. So the community has been liking Pulsar Lost Colony so far, regardless of its setbacks. Then we have space survival and construction games, starting with Star's End by Reverie World Studios. A multiplayer sci-fi survival game set hundreds of years in the future, you are one of many humans escaping their dying homeworld. Starting with basic supplies, make your way into space and travel the system while seeking resources and completing story-based missions. Crafting, building, and PvP combat in space, dogfighting, and FPS shooting. It all sounds great, though gameplay footage looks a little rough. Not bad enough to discount it though, as if all that's promised comes together, it might be a great game as long as it attracts a decent player base. Meant to go into Steam early access around the end of 2018, the plan is to fully release a year later by the end of 2019, so hopefully everything goes according to plan for Star's End. Continuing the survival, it's Hellion by Zero Gravity. You wake from cryosleep into this first-person multiplayer space survival game with a persistent universe, realistic solar system scale, and Newtonian physics. There is ship piloting and combat along with resource gathering and salvaging, though an important note is that it's a multiplayer-only game, even though it's said that you can lone wolf it as a kind of single-player experience. That's a promise that hasn't always worked out on other games. Having been in early access on Steam since early 2017, it's currently got mixed reviews, with many saying it's buggy, frustrating, and just unfinished. But it does have a lot of potential with regular updates. With another year or two of consistent development, Hellion might be able to overcome its issues and become what it's trying to be. For a game that's changed direction a lot, it's Planet Nomads by Crane Balls. Diverse biomes, planet exploration, gathering of materials, and building of bases. This is a game that's had a rocky development with many changes in the plan. Originally, this was meant to have multiplayer and co-op, but after complications that was scrapped and now it's a single player only game. That has left a bit of a bad taste for some people, but if you were planning to go it alone anyway, you should still be able to enjoy this one. Space travel and multiple planets was also in the plan, but it's hard to know exactly what the game will be at the end, as what it says on Steam keeps changing. Introducing modding is a point though, and they might be expecting the community will be adding what they want to it, which again doesn't always go down so well. Q2 2019 is the plan for full release, so if you're waiting for this to be as much of a complete experience as possible, you can check back with Planet Nomads then. And then we have Surviving on Osiris New Dawn by Phoenix Fire Entertainment. Said to be an uncompromising open universe space survival game, this one takes place during the year 2078. Play alone or in online multiplayer, explore planets, harvest resources, build bases, pilot vehicles, and survive the alien environments along with what lives in them. A single-player story mode is also in the works. In early access on Steam since the end of 2016, it has been in development for a while, and overall it got mixed reviews. At the end of 2018, the exploration update was supposed to land to bring spaceflight and more planets along with performance and graphics improvements. But the scope of what was promised wasn't delivered, and developer communication sort of fell apart, though the game did get some additions. So the fire is still lit, but many have lost hope waiting for updates, and the slow progress might make you want to hesitate before stepping into Osiris New Dawn. Now for one more open world survival sandbox, it's Imperium Galactic Survival by Aleon Games Studios. Here you'll be building ships, space stations, and planetary settlements as you explore, conquer, and exploit planets, all while uncovering the mysteries of Imperium. There's single player and multiplayer with PvE and PvP, along with creative and survival game modes. Experience and tech tree progression is also a thing, which is important as progression is often lacking in sandbox games. Overall, it's been quite successful in early access on Steam, garnering very positive reviews, though the initial plan was that it'd be 3 years in development before full release, and it's still in alpha after quite a while. Overall, these space survival building games are all trying to be a successful No Man's Sky, which itself has been massively updated since release. If you're looking for this kind of experience, have a look at all of them, but maybe Imperium Galactic Survival is the one for you. And then for those looking for big single-player journeys, there's Rebel Galaxy Outlaw by Double Damage Games. A blue-collar space adventure, this is something I wasn't expecting to see. Outlaws, explosions, greasy bars, and gleefully unrealistic spaceflight. Make money and mayhem, fast-paced combat, and customize your ship as you pirate your way through the galaxy. It's a sort of prequel to 2015's Rebel Galaxy that itself got a lot of positive reviews, but this is looking like very much its own beast. Every year on the space list, I see people asking for solid single-player offline space adventures, and there's a few candidates on this list already, but Rebel Galaxy Outlaw has that bit of extra personality shining through. Looking at a Q1 2019 release, you'll be able to have a go at this one pretty soon. Finally, I know this last entry is going to cause some mixed feelings, but it's Squadron 42 by Cloud Imperium Games. A story-based single-player campaign set in the Star Citizen universe and inspired by Wing Commander. You play a character enlisting and engaging in space battle, FPS combat, and plenty of dialogue. Star Citizen itself has been playable in an alpha state for some time, and with its recent updates, it's supposedly overcome all major technical problems blocking the completion of Squadron 42. Generally, the scope of the promised game is too much to explain here, but there was an hour-long gameplay demo video at the end of 2017, and now there's a roadmap for development going into 2019. There are some who call the whole project vaporware, but with so many games in development that face years of delay, it's hard to commit to a statement like that. Simple answer, wait another year and we'll see if Squadron 42 is out, and we can call it what it is then. Now for some bonus games, and these are not in the main list because anyone looking up upcoming space games would most likely already know about these, along with the fact that there's no clear release window, plus it's not like I haven't been mentioning these games every year already. There's Angels Fall First by Strangely Interactive, sort of like PlanetSide but on a smaller scale. It's been a standalone development since 2009, and now has a small player base on Steam Early Access. If it completes and releases, it might spark back to life. There's of course Space Engineers by Keen Software House. It initially went into early access in 2013, and we all probably know about this one. Yes, there is Star Citizen by Cloud Imperium Games. It was kickstarted in 2012 and right now is playable in Alpha 3 that's been adding more content and gameplay. And then we have Dual Universe by Nova Quark, the civilization building MMO. Long way to go, but it's the next massive technological endeavor for space games and a single shard universe. It's currently in Alpha 1. And that's it, 30 upcoming space games that should be releasing through 2019 and some into 2020, depending on their development. Which ones are you most excited about? Also, here's something I'd like to know. What do you think is the most important aspect of space games? The strategy, the fast-paced combat, the story, or all the customizations? Personally, I enjoy space adventures with a great story and lots of things I can personalize on my ship. Now, if you'd like to see more upcoming games, check out all the other lists on the channel sorted by genre shown at the top of the video for many more upcoming PC games, or my Gamer Encounter series where I take a much more extensive gameplay look at specific games. Buttons are on the screen now, and subscribe to see more unique gaming. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it and found it useful, and I'll see you in the next video.